Hello, Virgo and Pisces rising, and welcome to your August astrology and tarot forecast. If you're not terribly familiar with astrology, you might be wondering why it is that I am reading for Virgo and Pisces at the same time in the same format. And that is because Virgo and Pisces are opposite each other on the zodiac chart. And that means that Virgo and Pisces deal with a lot of the same issues, but usually come at it from a different angle. And when we look at the astrology, particularly the astrology of this month, the axis that we're dealing with is the same for both signs. It might be, the emphasis might be on one end or the other, but the axis is the same. And so I think this really works, but you certainly let me know what you think. Um, I'm also not going to go through all of the details of the astrology this month. I have recorded another video, an Astrology of August video, and I will link it here, and I'll link it at the end screen, I'll link it in the comments so that you can find it. So if you have not listened to that first, you might either go back and listen to that now or go back afterwards, and you'll get the rundown of what dates we're looking for and what the energy really looks like in the month. And so in this reading, I'm really only going to focus on the highlights and where I think that will show up for you. So just fair warning on that. Um, as always, these are general readings, so take what works and leave the rest. But if you like what you see, I would be very grateful for a like, a subscribe, a comment, or a share. Any of those things help the algorithm know that this content is interesting and useful to you, and gets it out and shares it with other people. It helps me grow my channel and share my message, and it helps me know that you're out there and interested in hearing more of this kind of thing. So yeah, a like at a minimum, I would very much appreciate. All right. If this is the first time you are here, my name is Lisa Merrifield. I'm with Trails Edge Astrology, and I am a modern psychological astrologer. And that means that the thing that I like to do more than anything is to help people understand their natal opportunities and challenges and how that can play out in their lifetime. Specifically, what I think astrology is really fabulous for is helping us recognize that there are the things we should think we should do, whatever we feel like we should be doing. And there's the longings of our heart and the places where we're really being called that might not make um, might not please our parents or might not, look conventionally in society, but really are what we're being called to do. And I think that there's some real value in looking at a chart and helping somebody see that thing they really love is really, something they are here to share with the world in whatever way that is. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a full-time job, but it could be, it could be a hobby, it could be a vocation, it could be just putting information out on a channel like this. So I love to do that kind of thing. And I also really like to help people work with the energy right now to know where doors are open and where they are closed, when to go forward, when to stop, really how to co-create with the universe. So those are my favorite things to do. As an astrologer, I often say that I help people find their path and make their magic. So that's what I do. And if you like this format with the astrology and then the tarot in there to give it some nuance, I am opening up a membership in November where I will not give you a general reading, but give you a specific reading for your chart with dates and how the energy will apply to you, and a personal tarot reading. So you'll get every month an email from me with a recording. They're usually 15 minutes or so, with all this information in it specific to you. So keep that in mind. Look for it. It'll open up in November. But it's a lot of fun to do. I've been pilot testing it this year with about 4 people, and it's really going well. So, all right, with that, let's get on to the astrology of August and how it will show up for you. All right. One of the main things that is happening this month is the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde from August 4th to August 28th. So pretty much the whole month we are in Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde asks us to revise, redo, rethink, reevaluate. And for you, Virgo and Pisces rising, this is happening across your axis of health and service. And so you'll be asked to reconsider and revise something related to your daily tasks or how you're showing up in the world, because these are the houses of health. I do want to say strongly, if you are feeling unwell or if something doesn't feel right, please go to the doctor. Like, this isn't necessarily energy to mess around with. There's something you're being asked to revise. Maybe there was some diagnosis you got, and it's just the medication's just not working. And during the retrograde, you'll be invited to go back and rethink how you're approaching something, or maybe there are some daily habits that you've embraced in your life, some changes to help you be more efficient or something like that. And the retrograde might ask you to revise or redo those things. So with Virgo rising in particular, this is happening in your 12th house. So the Mercury retrograde will be in your 12th house. So, I really feel like maybe there's some discussion of how it is that the 12th house is sometimes called the house of undoing, and that can be, undoing in a negative sense, but it can also be undoing in a positive sense, like breaking down boundaries and breaking through silos and those kinds of things. And so maybe in this spring, you have had some energy around building something new or thinking about things differently. And this retrograde might give you a chance to slow down and reevaluate and rethink about how you're doing that. Some ways to break down silos, break up calcification. It's perhaps a connection to cosmic consciousness, or some kind of boundary breaking kind of thing, that you're really revising and redoing. Mercury retrogrades are not usually a time when we want to take action. It's just thinking about what needs to be here and what needs to go. So if you are a Pisces rising, this energy is happening in your 6th house. And your 6th house is the more concrete service and day-to-day tasks. And so it could be some kind of revising of daily habits, or health habits, things that you brought into your life recently, or maybe they're long-standing things, and you're rethinking, revising, redoing in that space of daily habits, daily health, and how you take care of yourself. So that's going to be the whole month. We're going to be working on whatever that revision is for the whole month. We also have a full moon in Aquarius, and that full moon is going to be square Uranus. So full moons are usually about revelations or about bringing things to light, and can be about endings. With a square to Uranus, it really adds in an unexpected element, like something that you can't necessarily plan, which is interesting because we're in a Mercury retrograde where we're not necessarily moving our ideas forward particularly quickly. We're stopping and really honoring this time of slowness. But we, with that square to Uranus, and Mercury is squaring Uranus, Venus is squaring Uranus in August, and so I just, squares to Uranus are an invitation to release tension. And the thing with Uranus is that it's not always pretty. It sometimes makes that release in a really chaotic way. The goal of Uranus is to release the pressure, to liberate, to free. But it's not always really thoughtful about, like, is this in the best long-term interest of things? So all that is to say, the middle of the month, the full moon is on the 19th, the middle of the month. It's an interesting time. And so I think we would all do well to be particularly introspective around that time. That could be a time, if you're going to have a health issue, that it could come up, or it might not be a health issue. Maybe it is some part of the way you're living your life, or some silo you've put yourself in. Like, the middle of the month could be the time when you see something shake loose, or some surprising revelation come to pass. But yeah, so I'm not in love with that full moon. If you are inclined to do any kind of ritual kinds of things around the full moon, this might be. I know I said the July one was one to sit out. This August full moon might also be a good time just to kind of like lay low. Um, Uranus can bring really good things. The release of tension, the liberation, the surprise, that can be excellent. That can be just the thing we need. And I hope for you that it is. And um, I think it's really important to be cautious with that energy because it has the potential to be strong, and it has the potential to be jarring. All right, another piece of astrology that's coming in that I think we want to pay attention to is the Mars Jupiter conjunction in Gemini. So Jupiter and Uranus came together in April. Mars and Uranus came together in July, and now Jupiter and Uranus are coming together in Gemini. And on the whole, I think this is a really nice thing. This is Jupiter. Jupiter is, of course, about expansion and abundance, and Mars gives us the ability to act. In Gemini, it's very much about our ideas and communication and technology and any of that kind of stuff. So that's potentially lovely. Mars Jupiter coming together can also be bravado and hubris and give us like a false sense of importance. So there's definitely some balance here. The Mars Jupiter conjunction is perfected on the 14th. And for you, Virgo and Pisces rising, it is sitting in your fourth, 10th house axis. So that messaging is something about your public life and private life, or your work life balance, or your home and where you're going. There's definitely a theme of responsibility, and where are you feeling overly responsible. So for Pisces rising, this is primarily centered in your fourth house. So there is the potential to bring together that expansive action around home or family or roots or ancestors, or your really your private life, something shaking in your private life that then connects to your public life. And if you are a Virgo rising, this energy is happening in your 10th house. And that means that there's something in your public life, something if you work, if you're your volunteer opportunities, but your public persona that has the potential to again have some action that leads to abundance, or big actions around speaking and ideas and those kinds of things. Again, it can be a lot of energy, and so we need to watch carefully. Virgo and Pisces rising, neither of you are inclined to really be over the top, but just keep it in mind. There's just a lot of energy around the middle of the month, the 14th, with that Mars Jupiter conjunction in that work life balance, home life balance, that space in your chart. Now, the 14th, they come together on the 14th. The 19th, we have the full moon, which means that Mars and Jupiter will square Venus and Saturn. So Venus and Saturn during this time are in opposition to each other, and Mars and Jupiter will square both of them. It's called a T-square, and T-squares are tense aspects. Now, with Jupiter and Venus in there, that dials it down quite a bit. But there's still a real transformative property here. Jupiter and Saturn come together once every 20 years. So they came together at 0 degrees of Aquarius in December of 2020 and started this new 20-year cycle, and actually a new 200-year cycle. But so this is what's called the opening square. So this is the first time they have had a conversation like this since that seeding moment. So we started to bring something in December of 2020, and we've been building on that slowly. Again, this is a 20-year cycle, so this isn't something that happens quickly, but we're building on it slowly. And this is kind of like the first crisis point. Like, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to adjust? So So there's just some energy around that transformation piece. Pluto is also sitting right at that spot where Jupiter and Uranus first met. So it's part of the conversation. And really, I think like bringing things to light, shining lights on things, or putting pressure on something to get you to move more authentically into who you're meant to be. So all that is to say, Mercury retrograde throughout the month, so we will be moving slowly, and there's a bunch of energy in the middle of the month that might move us forward quickly. And for you, Pisces and Aries rising, I'm looking at the health houses, the 6th and 12th house, and I'm looking at the 4th and 10th house, the um, public-private space in your chart. And so that's where I think this energy will show up for you. And again, there's an invitation to co-create with it. There's an invitation to really work with the energy in a productive way. And to that end, let's move on and look at some tarot and oracle horoscopes and add to the story that we're telling. So in terms of tarot, we are going to read from the Prisma Vision Tarot. And I know this box is really hard to read, but it's a really fun deck. And then I'm going to do an oracle card from the Chakra Insights Oracle deck. And my thought with that is that we will ask for clarity of like where in your body you can release some energy or work to really embrace what's going on during this time and space. All right, so let's give ourselves a shuffle. Whoops, things are hopping out already. All right. So, Pisces and Virgo rising, in your opportunities, you have the King of Pentacles. And so, what this is telling me is that there's something very material here. I sometimes think of the King of Pentacles as the Midas touch. So, kings are leaders. Pentacles are about material things, not just money or jobs, although that can be part of it, but very much like being part of the earth, being outside, nurturing physical possessions, physical objects, nature, any of those kinds of things. So there's an opportunity to maybe somehow show some leadership. Being that there's some 4th, 10th house energy, the leadership might be in your job or your family. With 6th, 12th house stuff, is it a spiritual leadership? Is there some, again, that day-to-day kind of leadership, or is somebody coming into your life? Kings can be somebody coming into your life who can exemplify this energy. So you might look through the month just to see where it is you're being invited to step into a leadership role in some of these parts of your day-to-day life, or if there is somebody coming in who is giving you an opportunity to move forward towards your goals. So King of Pentacles, nice card. So there's some opportunity there. Either you're being asked to take a leadership role, or somebody else is coming in and helping you by taking a leadership role, helping you move into the next phase. All right. The challenge. The challenge is the 7 of Pentacles. So this is interesting. The 7 of Pentacles is about like seeing the fruits of our labor, seeing the decisions we've made start to come together and start to coalesce and pay off. But this is a challenge. And so I wonder if if in this experience, if perhaps you are feeling like maybe you've made some changes, if with this retrograde in that health house, in the service house, in like how you show up in life spaces, maybe you've made some changes and you're not feeling like you're seeing the results. And so that could be what this 7 of Pentacles is showing us. So, but something tangible. Because Pentacles are like work in the world. So something tangible. The challenge is that I mean, it could be that you're not seeing that you've made these choices, you've done this work, and you're not seeing it. Um, it could also be, the challenge could also be, you've made these changes and you've done this work, and suddenly the payback is huge. And maybe with that Uranian energy, there's like all of the sudden there's more than you can deal with, or more than you know how to deal with, or some kind of challenge around dealing with the results of the efforts that you've put in. So, and then I wonder if, if that's where you're being asked to take a leadership role and step in. It is interesting that you've got two pentacles, so I would guess there's something going on in your like 3D world that is that's being activated by this energy in August. All right, what is your to-do list? Oh, interesting. Your to-do list is the Knight of Wands, and knights are about action, and wands are about passion and creativity. So the Knight of Wands is taking action on passion and creativity. Also can be about communication, which, I mean, Mercury retrogrades are about revising communication. But yeah, something around stepping into your passions and creativity. To, these first two cards were about like the physical material world. But this is really about stepping into, the thing you want to do, or the thing that really calls to you. And it could be, something in the physical world. It could be something with a job, or with, like a health habit or whatever. It could totally be that. Um, uh, just it has to be, it's something you're passionate about, or something. Your invitation is really to step into your passion and into your creativity, and maybe not be so literal or so tied to the way you've done things before, or um you know maybe not so fluid, but really step into some action around something that is really calling you. um and with the 10th house, 4th house energy, it could be like work in the world or work in your family. With the 6th house, 12th house energy, it could be service to the greater good. That's very much um what that axis talks about. Maybe there's some cause or calling that you're really passionate about, and you're being invited to step into. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that might be what it is that there's um, that there's some level of service or some level of giving back that you are ready to step into, and that you're really feeling passionate about and called to. All right, let's see what the oracle says about chakra work and where you might be best served this month. All right, you got relationships. So this is a sacral chakra card. So sacral chakra is that seat of creativity. It's in the middle of your belly, and a real, one of the real grounding chakras. It's usually orange, and yeah, it's about creativity. It's your reproductive organs, so like it can be the um like having children. That can be that kind of thing, but not limited to that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be limited to children, but it's that stepping into the passions. It's the Knight of Wands kind of energy. And so there's something about relationships that might help you do that, or releasing that sacral chakra energy, or doing some exercises to work on grounding and really clearing out that space could be really helpful. The key words are intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. So yeah, put that in and mull that over, and think about how that relationship energy, and maybe building those relationships, coming into a space where you are, it's interesting. You've got this night, this King of Pentacles is your opportunity, and then you've got a relationship card here, and so I wonder, maybe there is somebody coming in who can help you move into whatever this creative passion is. Yeah, so see how that resonates. See how it sits this month. Sometimes it doesn't hit right away, but sometimes as the month goes on, you might put some pieces together and see how it fits and flows. So if you are still here, I want to give you a great thank you. And if you are willing to give me a like, if you're willing to subscribe to the channel, make a comment, share, again, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.